senators get involved, because it takes our voices to make change. So who we are. Moms for Liberty members are moms, dads, grandmas, grandpas, aunts, uncles, anyone who cares about the education of our kids. And that's what we like to stress. So it's not just moms only. Our founders are Tiffany Justice and Tina Deshevich. They are former Florida school board members, and they were literally two moms who had had enough, and so they started the chapter, or they started Moms for Liberty in January of 2021. And since then, we have grown.
We're not there yet.
Oh, we're not there yet. So, but we've grown. We're in 43 states, 265 chapters, over 100,000 members, which that'll be on the slide next. But we like to call ourselves Joyful Warriors, and so I'd like to present a couple of certificates. Back in September, there were several of us that passed out over 2,800 U.S. constitutions to the 8th graders in Campbell County, and then what we had remaining, we did Boone County as well. So the first one I would like to present to Jerry Girding.
Yeah, you can.
Thank you.
Let's stay up.
Stay up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting a picture. And then the next one goes to Cindy Young. She ran for school board and.
Oh, that's right. Share it. Will you come take a picture?
Is Marcy Clark here?
Not yet.
Carolyn Wolf. Okay. Karen Strayer also gets a Joyful Warrior of the Month award. One for, she helped out with the constitutions as well, but we also got the Boone County chapter started, and without her, this wouldn't be possible.
And I actually have one to give away. Miss Myrna Eads. Without her, none of us would be here.
We'll get a quick picture and then we'll move on.
Get us all.
Okay, wait a minute.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Sharon.
See, I can't keep a secret. Okay. Now, as Marta was saying, we have, and it's way over 110,000 parents, but we have 265 chapters in 2 years in 43 states. The goal is to reach all 3,130 counties in the U.S. I'll let Cindy explain more about Kentucky later. So, I gotta work on that slide. How we fight. We hold leaders accountable. We hold decision makers accountable, or we work to replace them with liberty-minded individuals. Oversight of decision makers and open communication has already been established. I've already met with the Boone County School Board and invited all of them here today. But unfortunately, this is a very busy time for them. And I'm so thankful Cindy could make it. I was really hoping Carolyn would be here. We spread awareness. We spread awareness and an understanding of the limited role of government. Website, wait a minute, where am I? Oh, our website and Facebook pages are in the works, along with development of a variety of committees. I would like to see committees where we're at least having somebody on each PTA in all the schools here in Boone County, people going to the school board meetings, things like that. Oppose government overreach. We stand together against government overreach and intimidation tactics because there's power in numbers. Promote liberty. We promote teaching the principles of liberty in our homes and community. And another thing that we do is what's called Madison meetups, where we actually have little small groups get together and we discuss the Constitution. It's kind of an educational thing. Many of us don't remember, I know I don't, from high school about the Constitution. So that's going to be fun for engage in key issues. We engage our communities and elected leaders on key issues impacting our families, such as parental rights legislation. We love that one. Activate to public service. We activate liberty-minded leaders to serve in elected positions. We request our elected leaders to do what we call a parent pledge. This is pledging that they will go for parental rights. It's not an endorsement from Moms for Liberty. We don't, in fact, endorse any candidates except school board. So what's the next page? Oh, I gotta talk again. So what chapters do? We fight culture wars, expose and educate. This all must be done at the local level. Deep dive into curriculum. We speak at local, state, school board meetings. Educate the community on issues, expose and shine light on concerns. Letter writing, phone campaigns. Like I said, we hold the Madison meetups. Support parental rights legislation. Identify and recruit friendly teachers and liberty-minded candidates, and we hold rallies. Locally, we are applying for a free large banner to use like when we're in parades or any events we may have, like at parks and stuff like that. Legislation state level, create Moms for Liberty state legislative committees. Create legislative agendas for each state, build relationships with state reps and garner support for bills. And we're blessed with 2 of our reps here today. Elections that impact the school board. We interview and vet school board candidates, and then we only endorse them. I think I already told you that. And where we are going.
Oh, that's me.
It's you.
Kentucky has 120 counties, and Boone County is the 3rd Kentucky chapter of Moms for Liberty, with Kenton County coming on board soon. We are expanding our army of moms to all. We want to expand our army of moms to all 3,130 counties in the United States. Take back the culture, restore core American principles in the classroom, a prerequisite for cultural renewal. Improve the quality of education in America. Graduate well-educated and well-adjusted students. Take back school boards with parents, not special interests. Membership.
Did I go there or
No.
I went the wrong way?
Back
Sorry.
wrong way.
Yeah, that's cute.
There we go.
Old people, I'm not gonna handle this.
Associate members are non-voting members. You can come to the meetings, you don't have to pay dues, but you are welcome to come, you just won't vote. Regular members, obviously, will vote. There's annual dues, and the regular members will also hold positions. Associate members are welcome upon completion of membership application. We have, some of Boone County regular members have already signed up for Campbell County. Your dues will just transfer over to Boone County. I know,
Yes.
I paid for
I'll be able to vote
Campbell
today.
County, so your dues would just switch over.
On it.
So as of now, our Boone County chapter has Karen is our chapter chair, I'm our vice chair, Sherry is our temporary secretary, we need a secretary, and we need a treasurer. Members vote and determine the direction of the chapter. The executive board just ensures that direction is being followed. The members decide where we go. The terms are for 2 years, and we have the 2 openings. That's all I got.
Oh, now we're back to me again. Well, I really wanted to bring up our website, just kind of to let you see it, because it's not live yet. It will be live once we adopt the bylaws tonight. So that is the web page, and then once we get that up, we'll have a Facebook page for those who are on Facebook. I am on Twitter, and I'm contemplating if I should put a Boone County on Twitter, because people are starting to get back active. That'll be decided later. You're good. Okay. Wow, that was quick.
Yeah, it was. Questions?
You said we'd go that way. We ask that you kind of stand for the questions and state your name, because I'm still trying to meet everybody. And please direct all your questions up here so that we can answer them. Anybody have questions?
I have a few questions. My name is Carl Ward, and I'm a retired teacher from Kenton County Schools.
Yay.
Former state textbook commissioner, part of the CARE reform advocate for
Yes.
children, and a public school teacher with fifth graders for 27 years.
Beautiful.
And so, I have a few questions, if I may.
Yes.
The first one I have is, you mentioned, American principles, and what are those?
So the principles that Moms for Liberty follows is basically the Constitution.
Yeah.
Plain and simple, the Bill of Rights, you know, that everyone has that liberty,
What
that
we were
freedom.
founded on.
Got, you know, the Judeo-Christian principles of our founding fathers. And we know that culture is changing, and that everyone does have certain rights, to that. But does that mean that we impose certain curriculum on everyone else?
And because of that, being a public institution with libraries and schools,
Right.
how do you foresee what you see as the curriculum and imposition?
So critical race theory, along with, social emotional learning and, DEI, there's a lot of, some of it, there's some good techniques to it, but then there's some also underlying factors that not everybody is aware of. And that's what we're trying to bring to the table. We've had a lot of parents, Moms for Liberty is growing by the numbers. And we have had parents that have brought concerns forward. They don't want their children learning about questioning their gender, questioning their parents, questioning, the morals and values that was brought up in their family. School is for reading, writing, arithmetic, learning financial skills, learning to become, you know, productive members of society. But we can't do that if we're teaching them about,
Distractions is what I call
yeah,
it.
that's a good word,
I
distraction.
mean, I think it's shown, and a lot of people blame this on the pandemic. It's not the pandemic when our scores were falling. They started back in 2015. It's a steady trajectory. So we need to find out why we're failing. One thing I will say that I'm proud of Boone County, we've got some great information from the Bluegrass Institute. And they are now doing a letters. Yeah, it's a reading program, and it, you know, uses phonics and other things. You've got the list of what it does, but, I mean, it's a good program. Boone County had 68 teachers sign up for that, and I'm very proud of that, because that's a large number. It's the largest in this area. So I'm very proud of our teachers here. I think they really do want our kids to do better.
Great.
Does that help?
Yes, I just want to close with this thing.
Yes.
I'm an elder at Mount Auburn Presbyterian Church in Cincinnati.
Okay.
My father was a very conservative Republican in Northern Kentucky with Northern Kentucky roots. But perhaps the former GOP than we have today. And he was a supporter of Massey for a while. He was a supporter of Massey. And I volunteered in CPS schools, and I also worked as a distinguished educator for the State Department, and I was assigned the lowest performing school in Kentucky, which was not in the mountains. It wasn't in Southern Kentucky. It was in Covington, Kentucky.
Wow.
First district school.
Yeah.
Your urban issues, systemic poverty, lots of issues that work against teachers, and those children probably, in many cases, are safer at home and school than at home.
Right.
So I bring that background to you when I say this. As a Christian, maybe not the same Christian some of you share, but I will say this. I'm not into putting a fence around the elements, I mean, the cup and the bread. And yet there is an effort with national Christianity is a real threat to our country. And I'm sorry, but I have to respectfully disagree with this organization because it is well funded. by right extremist politicians.
Actually, that
It
is
is not.
untrue.
I can prove it to you.
And,
I would like
and
to
we
see
can
that.
prove to you that it's not.
Okay,
So-
great, good. So I'm just gonna
We
say
can-
that.
we can-
It's an argument, but
So why do
you
you
have,
think
so
it's-
why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Because there has to be an effort. Just as you are pushing an effort in Northern Kentucky, I am gonna equally push back.
And
So
that's
is this for
perfectly
you?
fine. You're welcome
You know
to-
what?
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
respect debate. I do respect debate.
And because I'm not interested in no, I'm not baiting anyone. I'm not baiting.
no,
Debating? Oh,
No,
debating. Yeah.
debating, I'm
Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah, I
no.
come here out of honesty and concern.
And I appreciate
And because
that.
I'm looking around the room right now, and there's not much diversity. And my dad had a military school in Florida, a patriot who fought World War II, was one of 3 teenage fighters who came back from Okinawa, battle fatigued, almost killed and dead. My parents went to military school in Florida. I'm very familiar with Florida politics. All I can say is that with the military school and my dad's conservative movement, he loved me and he loved my husband. Okay?
Yeah.
And so the diversity element is real. And this concerns me with the national Christian movement.
God wins.
I'm a Christian too.
You're not the only one here
You
in
brought up
opposition.
diversity. This is not a diverse group.
Here's my issue.
So,
I'm
I'm
No,
talking.
no, listen
You
to me.
may speak in just a minute.
Okay.
It's called respect. You brought up diversity.
Mhm.
I look out in the crowd. Okay, this is Boone County,
Mhm.
okay? We have people of several different ages here.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna ask people's sexual orientation,
Mhm.
so unless you're talking about race, what other diversity is there?
Mostly in northern Kentucky, if you look at the history since the 1900s, the greatest diversity is going to be socioeconomics. And then
Okay, well, there's people in this room who, I mean, we have socioeconomics here in
Yeah.
this room.
So your definition, I'm not saying, I'm not questioning socioeconomics. I'm talking about the issue of book banning.
Okay,
We don't ban
Moms
books.
for Liberty is not about banning
We don't
books.
have the authority to ban
Yeah.
books.
But there are movements to go with that.
In Kentucky, you go through the Kentucky Department of Education. If you question a book, you fill out a form, you give it to the school, and then it's to their committee.
And
And so-
first off, the
I'm glad
books,
you brought that up.
the
Yeah.
books that we have questioned, none of them are LGBTQ. They are, all excuse me, they're not.
But the
They
thing-
all have to do with pornography, and they fall into the definition of KRS 531, which is of the definition of pornography.
And the founders of this
And-
organization were against
They're not
LGBTQ.
here.
No, they are
But
not.
they were against LGBTQ
This brings
literature.
me to my point.
Go
I'm
ahead.
Jewish. Does that make me less of an American because I'm not Christian?
May I answer this?
Absolutely.
I'm number 17
Mhm.
in a very large family. My nephew went to Cooper and actually brought a survivor and did all that. I have Christian, I have Jewish.
My grandparents arrived here in 1946
Yes.
from the displaced person camps.
Yeah.
Banning books, all of the things you
Again,
guys
we're
are
not
fighting
banning
for
books.
is the
Please
same
refrain
thing.
from using that term.
But it's the same thing.
No, it's not.
It is the same thing.
No.
Removing books, you may as well burn them.
I'm not removing.
All of the things you guys are trying to fight for, the liberty, is the same thing.
We're not-
You're
we shouldn't
no,
be allowed in
you are
schools.
Nazis, just call it. You
Really?
are
Absolutely.
If you are so
I'm just
afraid
calling
that we're
a spade a
Nazis,
spade.
you are free to leave.
No, the only person that can pick me out of here are the librarians.
No,
You do not have that right. This is a
Yeah,
public
we're giving
meeting.
you the freedom to leave if you feel that we are
Okay.
white supremacists.
You are white supremacists.
No, we are not.
Okay, when you're talking about,
I have an
are you aware that
African-American
critical race
niece.
theory is a postdoctoral field of study? You need at least a master's degree to study it.
come
There is
on.
no way,
Come
there's
on.
no way you can teach it
But-
in grade school level, okay? There's no way, it is too complicated. It's a postdoctoral field of study. You are using buzzwords and getting people worked up about things that don't make sense.
No.
Okay?
We-
And as
We are
you build
nonpartisan.
up tension about this stuff, you make people like me and like him feel threatened. You make us feel like we don't belong in this country, like this isn't our country.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely, yes.
When
you
have
don't
I
have that
done that
right.
to you?
Yes, you do.
When did I do that to you? You're
For
basing
the last
this.
one, for the since.
I would encourage you to go to the Bethel, to the Bethadon's Temple in Cincinnati. I just had them come and speak to our church about the threat of this movement and also the political attachments and how it's, this is all.
Can we move on to the questions?
Yeah.
Does anybody else have
You
any?
need someone to-
Hunter's Temple.
Does anybody else?
You're over your time, I'm sorry.
It has to
It's
do
exactly the
with
same thing.
supplies for kids.
Brother.
No, this is
That's what it has to
You
do.
guys don't know what you're talking about, you don't understand what your actions have on the communities that you're.
What actions have we done that has hurt the community?
You're pressuring
enough.
minority groups. When you
Do your homework
When
and
you
connect the dots.
put pressure on the LGBTQ community.
I'm not,
We're sharing LGBT.
We're not.
When you talk about banning books, when you talk about,
Not
when you
out
talk
of
about,
school libraries. Not
when you
public
talk about
libraries,
going to school board
libraries.
meetings and scaring our
Pornography
politicians.
should not be in schools.
What pornography? What is this pornography you're talking about?
Get the books, get them out, read
What books are you speaking of?
Yeah.
What are which you list?
So, Flamer by Mike Curato
Okay.
is a graphic novel,
Okay.
okay? And in that book, it shows pictures, and I'm sorry for anyone who might be offended, but it has a picture of a boy who drops the soap in the shower,
Okay.
looks up, and he goes, "Oh my gosh, I'm getting a boner." They show him jacking off in a bottle
Okay.
because he's got to produce the most cum. There's just a lot of
Okay, what
sexual
other
content.
books?
That falls under.
What other books?
That falls under.
What
I'm
other
sorry.
books?
We're running out of time.
Blankets is another one. There's a whole list of pornography books.
I mean-
Not a single one of the books that I have submitted book reviews to have been anti-LGBTQ.
Okay, but you're talking about comic books, like what?
It doesn't matter, they are in our taxpayer
You're also
funded
being
school
able to get all this
library.
online. That's
Taxpayer funded
fine.
school
That's
library.
fine.
You talk about pressuring kids
Okay.
or whatever, well, what about when schools, there are some teachers who are saying, here, this is required reading.
Like what?
Skype talks about killing two teenagers who have to kill
Okay.
people that they feel that are not productive members of society.
Okay, well,
Just like our video games.
I
do.
had to read Anne
But
Rand,
here's
and
the
that's the
thing.
same thing.
Here's the thing, it's about school. School is for
Okay,
learning.
but-
Reading, writing, reading, writing,
That's
arithmetic,
part of
financial
literature,
skills.
though.
Okay,
That's
then
part
learn
of
it at
literature.
home.
No, not all literature goes as
Why
far.
should my child
It's not
be forced to
appropriate for
learn what you want them to learn?
Why should my child be forced to not learn things that you want to censor?
That's why we live in America.
That's what I'm asking.
You teach your kids what you want.
Okay.
Do you have pornographic material laid out on your coffee table? Don't answer that. If you want to have it, that's your choice. It's your home. Your children can read it if they want.
Okay,
my
but if the
child
school,
should
if the
not-
school board has
The school does
approved,
not raise
okay,
my
if,
children.
but if the
I am
school
my-
board,
I am
the
the
teachers go to school for several years to learn how to be educators. And then once they get their degrees,
But that doesn't
they
make
go
them my
into teaching.
child's parent.
Would you not
They
call
don't
an
get to say
expert onto
what
a,
they're
onto
gonna
a,
make my child learn.
okay, but if you were in a court case and you had to call a legal or an expert in education, who are you going to call?
Well, I'd start with teachers and all that.
Yeah, because they're experts in education,
Do
right?
you realize
So
that there's
if they're
not
the
every
experts
teacher
in
agrees
Gotta trust those experts, they're never wrong.
Okay.
Never ever.
Do you know the teachers that you are attacking in Boone County?
Did
We're not
I
attacking
attack
teachers.
I just bragged on teachers.
We are not attacking
County
teachers.
has the leading teachers
We
that
are bringing,
are wanting to educate.
we
our
are bringing
children.
information to light. So
Okay.
that parents know. There is a parent in here somewhere that has brought up concerns of questionable material that their child has been taught in school.
Is this group aware that you were at Kenton County Library with John Schrock in November telling parents
This
there
organization
that
has
that's
nothing to do
oh,
with that.
Moms for Liberty, you were there
I was there.
personally.
I
For
was
Moms
there.
for Liberty, you
I
had a
was
table
there.
there, yeah?
I was there.
And you guys
Not
were
for
saying
Moms
things
for
like
Liberty.
teachers were terrorists and sex
No,
traffickers
Excuse
and
me, I wanna
groomers. I have it on
clarify that.
tape. I have
Yes,
all of it
you
on
do,
tape.
and you need to watch it because the
Okay.
presenter showed libs of TikTok
Who
with
did that?
rumor
Yep,
teachers.
I put the whole thing, the full
rumor
thing.
teachers
Okay.
were on there laughing, calling parents terrorists and saying, we're gonna
Were
teach
they
your
our
children."
teachers? Were they our teachers? Were they
They
King
were
County or Boone
teachers.
County teachers?
And we never
No.
said they were Boone County, Kenton County.
Why would
Campbell
you
County.
come to
We
Boone
never
County or
even
Kenton
said they were
County and
Kentucky
attack the
teachers.
teachers when our teachers were there, right? The teachers
Yes,
were
they
there
were.
and they were extremely offended. Several of them had to
Okay,
leave
well,
in the
Kramer,
middle of
I've
it.
actually
What's
been
your
attacked
point?
here because I've been called a white supremacist.
Okay.
And a racist. and
I
a
haven't
homophobic.
called you anything like that.
No,
I'm
you
just asking
haven't.
questions.
You haven't. I'm
Okay?
saying.
I'm just asking
I don't know
questions.
her name. I agree with you.
Okay.
And that's where we need to come together. This is a nonpartisan group. Everyone is invited.
Why would you guys have somebody that got up there and said, let's get teachers
I know,
out
that
and
wasn't
put
our
pastors
group.
in?
That
You were
wasn't
there
our-
and so were you.
I know, but it wasn't our
Okay,
group.
but you endorsed him. Why would you have him
I
come?
was there to learn what he had.
Okay,
Because
so
just
you're,
like you're wearing a pink jacket
Why were you
today.
there?
because
I
I
can
was
wear
told you
whatever
were
I want.
talking about defunding
A
public
white shirt, a
education
Trump
and I
shirt.
was
I
coming
could
to
have worn
support
a
my
white
teachers.
shirt.
Where did that come from?
That's what part of John Schrock's flyer said. If you look at the flyer, it says it on
Because
there.
we fight for education.
Which is fine, but then you can't say that Mom
I didn't say Moms for Liberty, I said Moms for Liberty as an entity was not putting on that.
What, Moms for Liberty had a table there.
I'm a parent in here, and my son has gone to public school systems in Bellevue, Kentucky. My son is biracial, and my son was told to choose his race. That's why I'm here as a parent standing up for my kid.
Okay.
Now tell me every teacher is for a child, because they're not.
My kids have been in Boone County schools this
Okay,
whole
well,
time.
I'm
They're
here,
they're
and I
13
wanna
and
hear what
14
these
years
people have to
old,
say.
and I haven't had any
And I would
issues like
appreciate
that.
it if you guys just leave and quit to start the
Absolutely
meeting.
not. It is a free country, I will say. Thank you.
Yeah, let's move on.
It's Moms for Liberty.
Let's move on with the meeting.
Okay, go on.
Does anybody else have any?
Okay, that concludes our meeting. What we will be doing is for people who want to pay the dues and become voting members, we would like you to stay so we can go over the bylaws.
Otherwise, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for coming. Thank you.
I'm messing around for a couple minutes.